Some nice intro music, man. It brings back the memories. I don't play a whole lot of Reflex, but I'm excited for this custom track. Dude, trying to make dirt react the way that dirt reacts in real life in a video game has to be extremely difficult. So MX vs ATV Reflex, if you guys are new to this game, is a motocross game that's been out since like 2009, 2010. So at this point, it's 9-10 years old. But custom tracks still come out from time to time, and the guys that still make custom tracks in this game know what they're doing. This is Buffalo Creek MX made by Red Rider. Red Rider 197 to be exact, but we just call him Red or Red Rider. And he's been making tracks in this game for years. I know Red Rider, not personally, but I've talked to him a lot in Discord. And he's a super cool dude, makes really good tracks. Again, some of the best tracks when it comes to Reflex custom tracks. And this is my first lap around this place. And knowing Red Rider's tracks, this place is going to be sick. This is a real track, it's in Texas, and he has made a replica of it. I don't know how accurate it is to the real thing, but the comments on this track are really good. So a lot of people seem really stoked on this track, and again, he makes really awesome tracks. But this game definitely shows its age when it comes to the way the textures will pop in, and then the trees in the distance will pop in. It's just a bummer because like the physics of this game, they're so good, but I feel like the features of this game, and also too just the fact that it's pretty old, is kind of what's holding it back currently. I think if they put Reflex on a new with new, graphics and added a whole bunch of features, that is a huge triple. That is sweet. If they just kind of like basically just updated the game to current generation consoles and PC specs, that Reflex could be, don't even touch the actual physics of the game. Just, update the net code, make it to where multiplayer is nice and smooth, update the graphics, and then maybe add some more features in. And Reflex could be still one of the top moto games right now. I think just the fact that it's older and doesn't have a lot of community anymore, at least consistently like it used to, is kind of the reason why this game isn't, the top anymore. It's just because it's older. But it's still fun to hop in here and ride these tracks because the game is still phenomenal. I mean, it's never been a bad game. It's just such a fun game, and it's always cool to open it up and ride some custom tracks. I don't play it nearly as much as I used to. Like 2016, 2017 was when I was playing Reflex a lot. I would play for 8 hours at a time with friends, and it was just so fun. And there really hasn't been a motocross game for me to do that since. But I'm really happy to be playing this game again for this video, just because I like checking out new tracks from time to time. And if you guys want to see more Reflex content, definitely let me know. I can make it happen from time to time. It's not going to be a consistent thing, but I can definitely throw Reflex in the mix. There's really nothing to fill this void except for MX bikes. I do need to do some more MX bikes content, but it is fun to throw Reflex on. There we go. That's how you're supposed to hit that section. Let's see if I can hit this whole section. I like how there are rollers between the jumps. Tabletop right there. Some more rollers. This one, yeah, I know I need to slow down right there. Still overshot it a little bit, but not bad at all. And then you have like these sand whoops right here. That's like tall rollers pretty much that you can hit like a rhythm section. And this track definitely has the flat type of Texas vibe to it. I've never ridden a track in Texas, but I have seen videos, and a lot of them are mostly flat. I mean, Texas for the most part is fairly flat from what I know. Texas is a really big state, so I don't know a whole lot about it. I've never really been there other than the airports, but just from the videos and stuff I've seen of tracks in Texas, like Freestone, what other tracks? See, I can't even think of that many. But it definitely seems like if you ask me where this was at, Texas would make sense from what I've seen. The trees are kind of further apart. It's not like heavily wooded, which makes sense from what I've seen from Texas. There are some hills, don't get me wrong, it's not completely flat, but they're not like big, huge hills that you would see on tracks that are, in more hilly places. But it's a cool track, man. The thing flows really good. Some of these jumps are really tough to get over, even on a 450. I like these sand sections. What is this? I don't remember. Do I send this? Yes. So you can send that all the way out to the rollers. And then I don't remember what to do here. I'm still trying to remember. Okay, that's the tabletop. But it's cool. The sand definitely kind of will bog the bike down a little bit. Keep getting out of that berm right there. But again, Red Rider just delivers great track after great track, and this one is no exception. Let me go outside here. That did not work. I should have tried to grab that outside line there. Let's see about this next corner. This one's tough because you have all of these different lines to try and hit. And ruts in this game, they're super difficult. It's really easy to 50-50 a rut like that, and it will just screw up your lap in a race. If you're racing this track and you 50-50 a rut, and the other dude that you're racing against doesn't ever 50-50 a rut, you're gonna lose. Like, it doesn't even matter if you're faster. You're gonna lose. You can't do that either. But you have to make sure that you don't go off the track. And don't 50-50 a rut to be fast in this game. And I'm not fast in this game. I've never been fast in this game. I've always kind of been trash at it. So I know a lot about 50-50ing ruts and going off the track, because that's what I do. That's what I do often. But I'm gonna do a couple more laps out here. See, the ruts can be tricky. You can get into them things, and sometimes you'll get knocked off the bike like that, because the game was not built to have ruts. Like, it was built to have smooth corners with just big berms on the outside. So it wasn't designed for ruts to work. But with the beauty of modding, these guys have figured out how to make ruts that work with the game. And I'm sure they could have made ruts that work with the game in the actual game, with the actual stock tracks. But either they didn't test it out, or they thought it was too difficult. Which, I don't know how I feel about that, because there are some ruts, you can make ruts in this game that aren't that difficult, which I think they probably should have done with the stock game. And dude, it's crazy. It's so crazy when I say this. There has not been a motocross game that comes out of the box with good ruts. Good ruts are always modded in. I have not found one good motocross game to this day that has good ruts in the stock game. And it was possible with Reflex. It was definitely possible with Reflex, because it's been done through mods. And anything done through mods can be done by the developer, and probably done a little bit better by the developer, because they have more resources and more tools that that they can use that modders don't have. At least I think. If a modder can do it, it usually means that the actual game company could do it and actually, you know, implement it into the game. Which, I don't know why they didn't do it with Reflex. Maybe it took up too many resources. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't, but they could have. And the fact that this game came out in like 2009, 2010, I keep hitting tires on the inside, watch out for those. But the fact that this game came out like 10 years ago, and God, screwing up that section again. I want to hit that inside rut. As I was saying, the fact that this game came out 10 years ago, and there has not been a motocross game to implement ruts into the stock version. Like, they're trying with the MXGP games, but it's not even on the scale of what's been modded into this one. It's kind of a bummer. I really wish one of these companies would figure it out. All Out's kind of close. They're kind of figuring it out, but they're trying to do like terrain deformation ruts, so like the ruts develop throughout the race, which is going to be tricky to do. Like, pre-made ruts work a lot better than ones that are or not predefined, are made through actually riding. And MX Bikes, I feel like, is kind of getting it. Some of these newer motocross games are on the edge of figuring it out. MX Simulator has their E-Road, which I haven't played that game in a long time, so I'm not sure how it works on there or how good it is. But I know they have E-Road, which is basically creating ruts throughout the gameplay. But I don't know. I feel like having these pre-made ruts is pretty good, because it's a good base, and then you can make it to where the ruts get deeper throughout the race, and then maybe some of the ruts are unrideable. And that's part of motocross. Like, a good rut at the beginning of the race is not going to be good the whole race. Like, ruts get blown out, they get too deep, they get slower, and I think having pre-made ruts in these games will, at least going forward, will make it to where the terrain deformation is better, because the ruts, they'll get messed up, they'll get blown out. You'll have ruts that will develop throughout the race that might. So basically, here's what I'm trying to get at. So if you have pre-made ruts, so take for example this, not this corner, we'll go to the next corner and I'll explain it a little bit more, because I know there are more rut options. But they could come in here and have pre-made ruts, still have terrain deformation. So a game, just think of a motocross game with terrain deformation, but have pre-made ruts that are different levels. So you could have the rut here on the inside, you know, be pretty shallow, but you could have the rut, actually that would not make any sense if we're looking at it realistically. Let's go the other way. The rut on the inside is already deeper pre-made. Now the rut in the middle is kind of medium, and the rut on the outside is pretty shallow still. But throughout the race, that inside rut's going to be the best rut starting. That's what I was looking for right there. That is how you grab a rut and just hook up so good. But anyway, back on my topic, you have that inside rut, that's the best rut to start the race. But halfway through the race, it just gets completely destroyed and it's slower, and you can't even make it through the rut going fast. So that rut is no good. And then you have to move to the outside rut, which is getting deeper and deeper because more people are hitting it. Then eventually that middle rut, did I say outside rut? The middle rut becomes useless towards the end of the race. And then the last lap or two, everyone's hitting the outside line, because that one is the best line. Like, the lines will progress throughout the race. And I think that would be the direction that they should head into, instead of just having a flat track and then having the ruts being made throughout the race, just because it's like, it's a video game. It doesn't act the way that it would in real life. Dude, trying to make dirt react the way that dirt reacts in real life in a video game has to be extremely difficult, because in motocross it's a lot easier to hop into a rut on a real bike than in a video game, at least from my experience. And when a track is new in a video game, there's really nothing stopping you from going anywhere you want in a corner. In real life, like, if you're the first guy on the track and you start, you know, hitting a corner, you're going to hit that same line over and over. That's just how it works. It's a lot easier to do that in real life than in a video game. So I think that having pre-made ruts is where they need to go with motocross games in the future. But I thank you guys for checking out this video. Definitely a little different for the channel. I haven't made a reflex video in a long time, but thank you guys for all checking it out. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe for more content if you're new around here, and I'll see you in the next video.